This Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, Trump slams Biden on border. White House says it doesn't take immigration advice from him. Of course, you would say that, Biden, because you're gonna reverse Donald Trump's policies on immigration, regardless if they worked or not. President Donald Trump on Friday weighed in on President Joe Biden's immigration policies amid an influx of migrants at the border since his victory, calling the situation a spiraling tsunami. It's good to see President Trump speak at the CPAC, and now he's speaking more out about what's going on with Biden's disastrous policies in general. The Biden administration, in response, called Trump's policies while in office not only inhumane but ineffective, saying it sought to chart its own path forward with humanity and respect. Sounds good, Biden, but I doubt that's the case. Our border is now totally out of control thanks to the disastrous leadership of Joe Biden, Trump said in a lengthy statement. Our great Border Patrol and ICE agents have been disrespected, demeaned, and mocked by the Biden administration. Couldn't have said it any better. A mass incursion into the country by people who should not be here is happening on an hourly basis, getting worse by the minute. Preach, Trump, preach. Since taking office, Biden has been working to reset the U.S.-Mexico relationship while facing a flood of migrants who have rushed to the border since his election in November. In his statement, Trump described the situation at the border as a spiraling tsunami that is overwhelming local communities, depleting budgets, crowding hospitals, and taking jobs from legal American workers. As I said, couldn't said it no better, Trump. Trump 2024, let's get it. We got that and a few more illegal immigration news to get into. Check this out.
There's an increase in activity at the southern border. More people trying to migrate into the U.S. through asylum or by risking their lives. This as the Biden administration is looking to reform the immigration system. Team 12's Adriana Loya looks at the situation at the border.
A rescue chopper landing at the Arizona-Mexico border near Yuma. Agents are there to save a father and his 2-year-old child from drowning after they illegally crossed the border and tried to make way through a canal.
We need as many ambulances as you can handle right now.
Days before, a deadly accident west of Yuma, 13 people dead. Authorities say the SUV was crammed with 25 migrants inside after getting through a hole in the border fence. Later, the SUV crashed into a tractor trailer. It's the latest examples of an uptick in activity at the border.
Biden, don't forget the promise.
A large group of migrants staged a demonstration at the San Isidro port of entry in Tijuana, Baja California. Many wearing shirts that read, "Biden, let us in."
En nuestro pueblo hay mucha corrupción, mucha delincuencia, no se puede vivir.
For migrants, the only way of survival rests in the Biden administration. Maria Guadalupe says she was forced to flee Michoacán, Mexico, following corruption and violence.
Hay muchos niños que están sufriendo, hay muchos niños que están enfermos.
A long journey for Dago, who says kids in his home country of Honduras are hurting and sick. For them, the risk, they say, is greater in staying in their countries than embarking the long journey to the U.S., even if it means risking death.
Pedimos un apoyo para nuestros hijos y para nuestras familias.
Border Customs Protection said that since early 2020, CBP has faced a growing number of individuals attempting to cross the southwest border, averaging about 3,000 arrests per day in January 2021.
This is all happening because of the signal that President Biden is sending to illegal immigrants.
Arizona Republican Congresswoman Debbie Lesko agrees the immigration system needs changes, but she opposes the Biden administration's pathway to citizenship for 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. One area she agrees with the president, a part of the bill that calls for the setup of refugee processing in Central America.
A more humane policy for people that want to come into the United States and immigrate legally or seek asylum is to do so from their home country.
Meanwhile, these migrants say they will be standing by. Adriana Loya, 12 News.
Good afternoon. First at noon, a Southwest Side man says it seems like a television show had come to life right in his own front yard. He saw Bexar County deputies chase down a group of suspects who had ties to human smuggling.
It happened in a neighborhood near South Callahan Road and Highway 90. As Katrina Weber reports, deputies say most of them got away.
In handcuffs is not where these 3 men expected to end up. Bexar County Sheriff's deputies say they had been headed down the road in an SUV with 7 other people when they stopped the driver for speeding on South Callahan Road late last night. The people, though, didn't stop. Everyone, including these 3, got out and ran.
Looked like somebody needed help. I ran out.
Human Ashkanzad was startled by the commotion near his home on Zupan Lane. Then he discovered an even bigger surprise.
They was hiding in here. Another one, the skinny guy, was hiding here back up to my trash can.
Right near his front door, he found some of the men hiding.
That was shocking because, you know, you're at home at night, suddenly you hear something going on in your yard.
Investigators believe the group may be connected to human smuggling, possibly undocumented immigrants. Deputies searched this area for the other 7 people, but came up empty-handed. They say the ones who they did take into custody have been turned over to federal agents. Ashkanzad, a new citizen, an immigrant himself from Iran, is still stunned by what he saw. He described it as a real-life drama right outside his door.
I'm really appreciative of the Sheriff's Department guys because, you know, how the TV shows The Bad Boys, I saw in action.
Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
We have breaking news from the federal courthouse in Raleigh. A grand jury has indicted 2 people in connection with a human smuggling operation. Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Daniels. It's all laid out in this 28-page federal indictment. Agents say 2 Fayetteville residents are under arrest, charged with smuggling 4 women and their young children from Honduras here to North Carolina. Agents broke open the case when one of the women called 911 from a home in the town of Willard in Pender County, saying she was being held against her will and the owner of the house used a taser on her. The court documents say means of force were used to get them to work. Let's show you who is now under arrest. They are these 2 people right here. David Darnell Whitehead there on the left, and also Martha Zelaya Mejia. They are the people who are now under arrest. And the FBI agent in charge of the case says their arrest brings an end to the reign of terror that these 2 predators inflicted, and also said human smuggling is akin to modern-day slavery. According to the indictment, they raked in about $168,000 with their smuggling operation.
Meantime, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is reaching out to President Biden, hoping to sit down and discuss how to deal with the ongoing situation at the U.S.-Mexico border involving unaccompanied migrant children. The U.S. Border Patrol says encounters with unaccompanied migrant children are up 64% over this time last year. More than 100,000 children are expected to cross the border this year. In the letter, McCarthy decries Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas' recent statement to those wanting to cross the border illegally, in which he said, quote, "We are not saying don't come, we are saying don't come now." McCarthy says in part, quote, "There is never a right time to violate the laws of the United States. Signaling otherwise is reckless and will make the situation worse," end quote. He also says he looks forward to the president's response and speaking in person with him about the issue.
What some are calling a new humanitarian crisis is quickly unfolding at the southern border. Homeland Security still reporting a big uptick in migrant crossings, including a major spike in unaccompanied children, surging more than 60% compared to the same time last year. The migrant shelter system, already at 94% capacity, is expected to be full by the end of March. Fox News has confirmed the White House has dispatched a team to the border region to assess the situation.
One of our concerns is that there is an influx of kids at a rate and a pace is going to require us to make considerations about where we're going to safely house them.
Border agents are also encountering more large groupings of migrants trying to cross illegally. On Thursday, they apprehended a group of 43 in the Rio Grande Valley, followed by a group of more than 100 just hours later. Critics say the crossings are being prompted by a reversal of President Trump's hardline immigration policies.
Joe Biden has signaled to the world that he's not going to take border security seriously, and as a result, we're seeing more caravans.
The Biden administration is now running ads in Central America, discouraging people from coming to the U.S. But at the moment, the message is being largely ignored. According to the data, and with government resources running low, a number of private groups have stepped in to help.
Resources is always a struggle because no matter what happens, we're going to do whatever it takes to serve these families.
The Democrats on Capitol Hill say they will not take up President Biden's immigration reform bill, meaning any policy changes down here would have to come in the form of executive actions.